Hey everyone, Chris Haddon, Jason Balin, authors of The Whiteboard Book. You can check us out at thewhiteboardbook.com. Today we are talking about the strange notion of hard work in quotation marks, in the American work culture. And it's a strange thing because ever since we were kids growing up, we've always been told that hard work is where it's at. It's what you need to do. It's what's going to get you places. And while I don't disagree with that, I do disagree with the fact that the hard work in and of itself should be the goal, because it's not. The results are the goal. We're going to get there in a second, but let's break down a little bit what people mean when they say hard work and why it's not the best notion. And I think we can get more dialed in and more focused on results in our work life, professional life, whatever. All right, so the first way you would define hard work, like the first measurement of hard work, is hours.
Yep.
Right?
Time.
You hear it all the time. Time.
Yep, time.
I worked 12 hours yesterday. I worked 16 hours.
I stayed up all night.
I stayed up all night. I got up at
early.
5. Like, it's just like as if that's some kind of win, as if that in and of itself is some kind of victory. You know what I mean? I think it's way, way off. And I think people use that time thing and the effort part of it as like a badge of honor.
And a lot of people compete in the workspace of, hey, you're here early, or you're working late tonight, or whatever the case is. I mean, we see it firsthand in our office and kind of just cringe of. Totally cringe,
because it's nonsense. The results are what we're after.
Yeah.
Sometimes you work at this time, and like we were talking with our buddy Glenn about every day is Tuesday, right? I mean, it's not about when you do what or the amount of time it takes. It's about the results that are created by your effort. Speaking of effort, that is the other very common way to measure this idea of hard work that has been ingrained in us since we were kids. How difficult is the work you're doing? Making that some kind of goal, which I think is way off too. I worked construction for a summer when I was in college. It was extremely hard work. It was hot out there. Lifting heavy things. It's wild.
Probably the hardest work.
Yeah, probably the hardest work. And I would not by any means consider that a big victory in my career. It didn't pay well. I think I was injured a lot of the time. It was probably, I could have been doing much more fun things. It was summer during college. In no way would I consider that, for me personally, a victory. Yet, the effort, if you're measured by effort, it was way high. So that's why I think the idea of hard work is off. Okay? So, I'm going to segue from that into results type stuff.
Sure.
High leverage activities?
Things that produce results. And again, this isn't about obviously hours count and time counts, but it's the results that, you're obtaining and you're getting to when you're spending that time. What did you accomplish in, the 6 hours that you worked? And a lot of the things is keep in mind, imagine if you had a deadline and you had to have this project done within 6 hours. Now let's just say you had that exact same project that had to get accomplished in 2 hours. My guess is you could probably accomplish the exact same work and the exact same quality of work given that time.
There's a term for that. It's the law of something, that you're gonna finish a given task in the amount of time you allow yourself to do that.
Yeah.
It could be 2 days. It could be 2 hours.
And then also on a higher level, more importantly, is figuring out what actually should be spending your time on, to begin with. And obviously there's a lot of different directions that we could take this. We can take this in. In our chapter in our book related to snowballing, we talk about some of that stuff as well. But the bottom line is making sure you're focused on whatever that number one thing is. Results. Is it top line revenue? Is it bottom line? Is it hiring employees? Whatever the case is.
Yeah, it can be different. It can vary based on the business, based on the person, but having real results and metrics in place to measure those results, that's important, and that's what's to be focused on.
Yeah, and we can talk a little bit about really high leverage types of activities.
Yeah, let's do that.
That we do on a regular basis, and a lot of these things. I'll give you a good example. So we have an internet marketing campaign that we started in 2007, right when we started our lending company, HardMoneyBankers.com, and it's an internet marketing campaign that brings in us leads every month on a regular basis, and it's had very little maintenance across the board in years that we've had it set up. And yes, we spend real money on it because it generates leads and it turns into loans and other business opportunities. That being said, that campaign we set up is probably equivalent to paying one employee $100,000 per year to do the exact same amount of work. right? Like what they would have to do on a full-time basis would probably be the same thing of what we were able to create in the internet, this internet web campaign to do so. Extremely high results with extremely low, overhead. So instead of having that expense of that employee or having that time to do some of those tasks, it's automated. So then we can work on the next thing. And those are a lot of things that we look at in our businesses related to setting up systems, automating tasks. Usually you can automate stuff through outsourcing to either an employee in your office, or outsourcing it to an external employee, or putting technology technology in place to do that yourself. And we've always felt that it's extremely important to kind of understand and learn some of the marketing campaigns or some of the projects, visionary goals that we're working on. But after we have those set up in place and understand them, it can extremely be, moved up to the next, to somebody else to run that for you.
For sure. And high leverage activity, just in case this isn't a term that we throw it around a lot, we're very used to it, and we wrote a whole chapter about it. But in case this is not a term that you're used to, the best way to describe it really is something that requires a small amount of effort and produces very large results. The results are disproportionate to the amount of work that went into it, right? Like the campaign that Jason described that we set up years ago, and that we have very little maintenance ongoing with it, yet it's produced I don't know, who even knows how much revenue over the years, but a ton. What are some other things? What are your top couple high leverage activities, would you say?
So all of the web marketing that we do is
web
huge.
marketing,
I mean, sure. And that's something that's
super
new age.
High leverage.
That's only within the last 10 years or so that you could do that.
Max,
Back in the day, I think that, and also a lot of the virtual assistants that we have for different aspects of our business. Another big thing that's a really good use of time is hiring and managing the right employees. We've learned
investing
that,
in people.
Obviously we didn't, make, people, process, and product up. And we were to actually
that phrase, yeah.
Exactly. And we've been talking about this, at the beginning when we started our business, product was the most important thing. And then I would say probably process and then people. And now it's the complete opposite.
We didn't have any people.
Exactly. And as you grow, we spend a lot of our time training the right people. And if you have employees that are in the that sell for you, sales staff, there's a lot of turnover, just the personality types. Grass is always greener on the other side. There's a lot of turnover in that space, and usually it's every 18 months. We've had very little turnover in our sales staff. We try to support them. We try to help them make more money different ways and things like that. So I would say a lot of effort that we put in is to our people. They're family members. They're not literally family members, but we treat them like family members because they represent us. They help us they help us make money, and we want to make sure we can take care of them.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree with those two high leverage activities being way up there. Web marketing and also investing in people have a huge return over time. I would also throw in there one more high leverage activity, if you want to call it an activity, is investing money in assets and money's ability to make money. Like the phrase we like to...
Nothing makes money better than money.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing makes money like money. You can invest in something today as long as it's the right kind of investment vehicle, and it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Build an asset for you, spit out cash flow, whatever it may be. But that is just a super high leverage activity to take some funds and put it in some kind of asset.
And think of a lot of those things in your own business. If it's an online business, if it's an offline business, I mean, there's, I'm willing to bet there's a lot of things that you can do that can be more results oriented instead of time oriented. It's not that impressive, staying up all night and doing this and doing that. Really concentrate on the results and, figure out things of, hey, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be spending all my time on this anymore. What's my direct path to money? How am I going to turn what I'm doing into money and figure that out? And if it's not turned into money, get rid of it and move on to something that is.
Yeah. So to recap the whole thing in a relatively short sentence, the hard work itself is not the goal. The results are the goal. Does hard work have to go into it? Yes. Are time and effort part of the formula to get the results and the success? Absolutely. But I mean, if hard work itself were the goal, then what would you never be able to use? You could never cut and paste. It'd be too easy. It would be more noble. It would be a better win to retype everything instead of copy and paste.
That's a really good example, and hopefully that hits home with you.
Yeah, we're going to trademark that one. Anyway, thanks guys. Hope you read the book, thewhiteboardbook.com. Pick up your copy anytime and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks.
Thanks.